Okay, people, we're going to explain identifiers and what they are for. Okay. So, identifiers basically they tie into this whole authentication system that iOS has to help you um make sure that your apps are safe, they are what they say they are, and the people who created them are who we say they are. There's no funny business going on. This is part of iOS's safety measurements when distributing or deploying apps. Okay, so what is an identifier? Identifiers refer to the unique IDs that are assigned to an app or a group of apps. These identifiers are used to identify the app or group of apps to the Apple Developer Services, the App Store, and the iOS operating system. Identifiers include app IDs, which are unique IDs assigned to a specific app, and bundle IDs, which are unique IDs assigned to a group of apps from a single development team. An app ID is used to identify an app in the development process, and it is also used to obtain certain services such as push notification service, in-app purchases. Bundle IDs is used to identify an app or a group of apps from a single development team, and it must be unique across all developer accounts. In the iOS developer account, an identifier can be created, managed, and deleted, and it is crucial for the app to be properly signed and distributed by the App Store or to be tested on real devices. Now, before I go on further, let's just say this right here. When we talk about unique IDs, the app ID is a unique identifier, and the bundle ID. The bundle ID you're gonna get from Xcode, okay? Um, and this originates in your particular project. Um, I'm trying to think what there's another ID. Unique ID assigned. And some of the other things, like your team, your development team. Yeah, there you go. Development team. That is going to be designated in your developer account. I haven't gone over developer accounts because I think most of you guys are familiar with developer accounts. You've already created one. I think I maybe do it later on just for the sake of beginners, but I think a lot of you already have that. And I think this is kind of more pressing. But don't worry, if you don't have it, if you don't know what the developer account is, you don't know how to set it up, I'm gonna do a video on that eventually. But right now there are already videos on it. And so you can go to those sources, set it up, you can get your team ID. Okay. That is that is part of that is an identifier that you're gonna need later on. Okay. On to the next. So now we say, how do you create an app ID? Log in. To get to the app ID and developer account, you need to do these steps. Log into your iOS developer account, go to certificates, identifiers, and profiles section. Under the identifier section, select app IDs, click plus, create the new app ID, enter the name of the app ID, select the type of app ID you want to create, either explicit app or wildcard app ID. Explicit app ID is used to identify a specific app, while the wildcard is used to specify or identify a group of apps. Once you've selected the type of app ID, you'll be prompted to enter the bundle ID. The bundle ID comes from your project. Now I'll show you where to get that. Bundle ID must be unique across all developer accounts. Click continue and confirm. I'm going to walk you through this. You will then see the app ID on the list of identifiers, blah, 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 blah. I'll show you how to do that. So let's see. I'm going to go here. I'm going to open up Xcode and our friendly dependency injection for API call project. Yeah. So here we are. And so when you want to get your bundle ID, what you're going to do is you're going to go here, open this up, right? Click on this. Thank you. Go to your targets, right? Okay. And then right here, this is your bundle ID right here. And you can, I think you can select here, and then you can go there and select that. Command C, you can copy, right? Okay. So let's see, go back here. And you have this, and then this of course is your team. Teams, every time you connect with a team, you can add a team. I'll show you how to do that later. But this team, I don't want to go into all of it, but every time you work with someone and you're deploying for them, they have a team, right? So to be able to distribute to them or deploy for them, you have to be a part of their team, right? So this is my team, Norbert Grover, okay? And this is designated in my developer account. All right. And so now let's go to apple.developer and let's talk about this, okay? Jesus Christ. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to say his name in vain. Jesus Christ, I apologize. Yeah. Certificates, identifiers, and profiles. I go to identifiers. I'm not going to walk you through everything, through all the steps, just do most of the steps. Identifier, click the button, add the plus button, add identifier. You're going to do this app ID, continue. What did this do? Select app, continue. And then I'm going to put in a description, right? Boom, 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 of the app. Okay. And then I'm going to enter the bundle ID. I'm going to click continue here. And then you should be able to, oh, and by the way, you also want to do this. You also want to mark any other services, right? Apple Payment, autofill credential provider, communication notification, right? And all these other things. Driver kit allow third-party clients, all this other stuff. Gaming center, group activities, health kits, family controls, hotspot, iCloud, and the list goes on. This goes on and on. Sign in with Apple. These are all the other things capabilities you can add, app services you can add, okay? But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to click continue, and then there should be a page where I confirm everything, okay? And then I go back here to all identifiers, and the name of my new identifier should be right here in the description, right here. The description should be right here. Boom, boom, boom. With the identifier, right? Okay. So now we have that. So let's go back over here and let's talk about this. So now we're going to move on to the next one. So now we're going to talk about the difference between explicit ID and a wildcard, because a lot of people don't really discuss that, right? So an explicit app ID is a unique identifier that is assigned to a specific app, right? And it's used to identify the app during the development process, and also used to enable certain services such as Apple push notification service and in-app purchases. An explicit app ID is a combination of unique identifier prefix and a bundle ID suffix. The unique identifier prefix is assigned to your developer account, and the bundle ID is a string that you choose. The bundle ID must be unique across all developer accounts. So again, yes, you choose it, but remember, you get the bundle ID from your Xcode project. I showed you right here, right? Right there. There's your bundle identifier. Bundle ID, bundle identifier, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now that you have that, you're combining your bundle ID, right? and your okay. Your bundle, you're adding the unique identifier prefix and the bundle ID as a suffix. Now, here's an example. In an example, explicit app ID, something like abcdefghij.com example.myapp. That's the app ID. And it comes from abcdefghij is unique identifier prefix assigned to your developer account. .com example, my app is the suffix. So now there you go. Okay. This app ID would be specific to the app named My App, and it would be different from other apps. This explicit app ID would be used to identify the app during the development process and also used to enable certain services such as Apple Push Notification Service and in-app purchase. And I'm going to go over what those are later on. Okay. Wildcard app ID. A wildcard app ID, on the other hand, is a unique identifier that is assigned to a group of apps. It's used to identify a group of apps from a single development team. A wildcard app ID is also a combination of unique identifier prefix and a bundle ID suffix, and the bundle ID suffix ends with an asterisk, which acts as a wildcard. This means that any string that follows the prefix and the asterisk will match the wildcard app ID. Using a wildcard app ID allows you to use the same provisioning profile for multiple apps, saving you time and effort in creating and maintaining individual profiles for each app. It's important to note that wildcard app IDs can be used only for development and cannot be used for distribution. While explicit app IDs are required for distribution, in-app purchases, and push notifications. Okay. An example of a wildcard app ID will be something like ABCDAFGHIJ, like we did in the first one. It's unique identifier prefix assigned to your developer account. The asterisk is a wildcard character, which means any string that follows the prefix will match the wildcard app ID. Wildcard app ID will be used to identify a group of apps from a single development team. Using a wildcard app ID allows you to use the same provisioning profile for multiple apps, saving you time in managing and maintaining profiles for each app. For example, abcdefghij.com, example, my app, and abcdefghij.com, example, my app 2, would both match the wildcard app ID, abcdefghij dot asterisk. It's important to note that the wildcard app ID can also be used only for development and cannot be used for distribution, while explicit app IDs are required for distribution, in-app purchases, and push notifications. And so I just showed you everything for this. And we're moving on from app IDs. And now on to the next.